So Chad, we've got financial advisors listening right now who's growing their business. They also want to grow in their family life, their
Mm.
fitness, their faith, really all aspects of life. So you've got the 10x growth mindset. That's a big part, it seems, of call it your brand or just what you talk about how you live your life. And I believe you attended Abundance 360 this past year. So you're looking into the future, you're a futuristic guy. What are one to two things that stuck out to you from that conference?
Oh, wow. Admittedly, I went, I didn't participate in the conference. I went and met up with a lot of clients and friends at night because it was in Southern
Okay.
California. So I did get a cool tour of some of the stuff that was on display, and I spent time having conversations with people and met some LinkedIn friends there, which was really fun. I think, what impressed me, I mean, I talked to the robot there that was so incredibly lifelike in the thinking. I mean, obviously it's a robot. It wasn't like it was nurturing or friendly. Sorry about that bump. So I talked to the
Not yet.
robot.
Not yet.
Yeah. Yeah, but not yet. But it was very interesting because they talked about people who have Alzheimer's or different mental health challenges who can't recognize the difference really, but it's there was a safety feature that if a parent fell down, that robot person was able to recognize something immediately and call 911 for help, which I thought was just very interesting. I did attend a recent AI session where someone demonstrated that they have an AI sales rep that is making 2,000 calls per hour and is able to, in real time, handle sales objections, talk with potential clients. They've really trained the AI to understand what their business is. And the only goal is to set an appointment with a real person. So
Hey,
they had a better close ratio. I think out of 2,000 calls, they said 6 people said, "Hey, is this a real person?"
wow.
And it was cool because he had us demonstrate it right there live. And he said, "Let's call it, and you make up whatever objections you want to setting an appointment, and let's see how it does." And I was impressed.
Hmm.
So I think there are many people who are afraid of AI and technology, and certainly there will be people that use it for bad purposes. It's coming either way. So we have to embrace the future of technology. And it's like when the internet came out, I'm sure there were people resisting it, or the calculator. I remember, I guess people were saying calculators, teachers back in the day were saying calculators was, it was very unethical to use calculators and it's counting the easy way, but we can't even imagine not using them now. So I feel like AI might not replace everybody, but people who don't understand AI or technology will be replaced by those who do.
How would you guess that AI might change the financial advisory space or
Mm.
specifically for your company?
I think that we've seen some of that with people trying to use those kinds of programs to automatically invest for them or invest their 401k. I think that's going to continue. So you're going to have to really differentiate the services you provide, because if all you're doing is picking investment funds, I think that's going to continue to be commoditized by technology. I do think that those who serve a broad market of financial advisory clients will be able to take advantage of technology in whether it's prospecting online or prospecting with cold calls. Like, I think that's going to really ramp up over the next 5 years. And if you're looking for a broad range of financial advisory clients, I think you really have to look at the different technology and tools out there for you.
Hmm. So back to the 10x growth
Yeah.
mindset, you're leading Platinum Elevated.
Yep.
Can you share just some of the wins? Give me some, quickly share what is it? How are people flourishing in there?
Yeah. Thank you for asking, Dave. Elevated, and it is Platinum Elevated. I call it Elevated, but Elevated is a group that I've created that is really focused on. I was talking to someone today, like, what do you love about it? And I said, I love influencing, inspiring, and teaching people and giving them permission to reach for really big goals that they have. And then I love creating an environment, bringing them together, connecting them, and an environment where they light on fire. That's basically how I described it, like an
Hmm.
environment where they light on fire with excitement towards their goals and dreams. And they have the tools and the connections, and they make the new commitments to make those things happen. I had a couple people at our live event in April just last week come up to me and say, I've made more progress in 3.5 months than I had in the last 5 years. And
Wow.
one of the things they cited was our weekly accountability calls. So we have coaches who have one-on-one weekly accountability touches, calls, where you've got to fill out some information about what you're working on and what progress you've made, what you're struggling with. And then we're going to coach you through those challenges. But really, we're going to challenge you. We're going to push you. So I teach in the group sessions and give them a principle or two to really focus on. We mastermind about it. We talk about it. They make new commitments, and then we have our weekly follow-up. So it's early. I limited it to 100 members this first go round for 2024. I know it's going to grow into something much more significant. We have a huge waiting list already of people who've signed up on the website for next year. So it's going to evolve over time, but the premise will stay the same. I want to teach, inspire good people, go-getters who are generous, who have big dreams and goals, and then create that environment where success is inevitable and their hopes and dreams catch on fire.
Wow. That's super exciting. I saw some of the pics from the
event. Yeah.
in-person event. Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun. We had
That's
someone
cool.
who said, I think their goal was, I want to say his goal was like $1 million in profit this year. It seemed like a stretch goal. He has 2 businesses. This was just one of them, but he really wanted to grow this one to $1 million. And he just set it out there, and he was working on different things, and he was trying to make connections that would facilitate that kind of a big 10x growth in 1 year. And something happened in his local area where a company that has a 9-figure over $100 million in revenue in that exact space is shutting down their division that does that service for clients. And it's a SaaS company. And so that particular division director was someone that he met because he was implementing what we were teaching. He brought him into his inner circle. They've developed a relationship, and suddenly that large company is referring every single client who's saying, well, where do we go now? He's referring every single client to this business owner in my program. And he's like, I may go from my goal of having $1 million in revenue in this division to $100 million. And I have to figure out what to do now because I am flooded and overwhelmed with ideal fit new clients that I don't even know what to do with. And so he brought that
That's
to the
incredible.
group. He's like, I need help almost investing in this infrastructure because I'm going to drown in new business. And I remember the Zoom I had with him, I think January 3rd, where he's like, I don't know how I'm going to get to $1 million, but I really want to have $1 million in profits in this business. And now he's like, what do I do with $100 million in potential revenue now?
That's
it's pretty
incredible.
exciting. It's just cool to see when you put yourself in that frame of mind and you take those chances, what's possible.
So that brings up actually I've got a question personally about the business. So I want to ask you about your process and your prospective clients that reach out. Because at Streamline, our company, our advisory company, we have 60 to 100 people reaching out. They're filling out the questionnaire every month. And we've got 2 main advisors in charge of talking to most of those pre-qualified people.
Yep.
But they also have 75 clients. That's number one, right? That's
Right.
the core. That's who we have to serve
Right.
first. So we're wondering, we're thinking and planning out kind of next steps and next hires. And should we be thinking about a model that is I'm curious how you do it, but should we have the communication expert person, kind of the sales advisor or sales development person who's the first contact for all of these people that are reaching out? Or do we hire more advisors and train them on how to talk in the first meeting? You know what I mean? Kind of the difference there.
I think it's a different skill set. I think the and keep in mind, I'm speaking of Elevated before, not Pacific Capital, but Elevated.
Yes.
But thinking of your model, to me, it makes more sense to have someone whose natural ability is that sales process and business development, communication upfront. Like the very first impression should be that person, and all they do are first impressions. I think it's challenging to have that person also be the financial planner plus the client relationship expert over time. To me, it just seems like those are different skill sets that don't typically come in the same human being. So you might have a girl that's incredible at that front line and just makes people feel warm and excited about joining the firm as a client. And she's able to say, now I'm going to introduce you to the financial specialist who specializes in these areas. just like you've talked about, Mr. and Mrs. Client, and passes them on. To me, that would make a lot more sense for your model.
But you get to this next level of, we never thought we would be at this spot with
Yeah,
all these people reaching out. So it's fun. You know, you could, the reason why I do the advisor teaching thing and sharing videos is like the person you're most suited to help is who you were 2 years ago or 5 years
true.
ago, which
Yeah,
there's a lot of people out there who are advisors who want to be marketing focused. So
yeah.
anyways, I
I
guess,
have a lot of advisors in our elevator program. I think that's the highest representation. I think it's probably 15% maybe of the 100 members right now. I think that was the number around there. But I think they have an advantage because I speak their language very deeply. And so a
Mhm.
couple of them came up to me at one of the breakfast, at the breakfast table, and they were asking questions specifically about their advisory practice and what I would do if I were them. So
Hmm.
I don't know.
Okay. What's your biggest challenge as you're growing Pacific specifically? Pacific
Pacific
Capital.
Capital, biggest challenge is making sure that I we've gotten so much better at filtering out and the right fit potential clients. That's something that the team told me yesterday. They said, man, we used to get so many people applying for first appointments that weren't a fit. And they said it's almost like 80% of the new applications for appointments are actually good fit clients.
Hmm.
And so they said, Chad, your messaging in the public must be getting clearer and better. So I think that was a challenge before because from LinkedIn, I would get so many people wanting to meet and they weren't fit. So it was like, how do we gracefully and kindly turn these appointments away? Biggest challenge now is just continuing to grow. I think this year we should be able to bring in probably over 400 million of new assets, and that's with no acquisitions, no anything. That's just straight organic new clients coming through the door. But I don't ever want I don't ever want to see us stop growing or have less than a 9-figure year of new client assets coming through the door. So
Mhm.
staying hungry and staying on our game.
Chad, thanks for being here. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for sharing on LinkedIn too. It's a lot of advisors, as you know, are following and looking at you and seeing all the cool things you're doing and getting inspired and hopefully leveling up their game too. And a lot of them are joining Elevated as well,
Yeah.
which is
Thank
pretty
you.
cool. All
Appreciate
right.
it.
See you, Chad.
See ya.